नमस्कारः। हेलो, श्रूयते वा?
नमो नमः। नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः। अस्तु, धन्यवादाः। आरम्भं कुर्मः। रोहित्यमच्युतपदां भुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यानविध्वस्ता शेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहं यामुनेयं नमामि तम्। Namaste Bhai. We have to look at the 8th chapter. Before that, let us quickly go through the last two verses of the 7th chapter. Namely, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tadvidah Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam Sadhi Bhutadhi Deivam Mam Sadhi Yajnam Cha Ye Viduhu Prayana Kalepi Chamam Te Viduryukta Chetasaha. These two verses we saw towards the end of the previous session. They come after Bhagavan describes 4 types of bhaktas, namely page 255, 16th verse. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janas sukrutino arjuna arto jignyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. Chaturvidha bhajante mam. Arjuna, four types of devotees, they are devoted to me. Artaha, jignasuhu, artharthi, jnani. Here, artaha and artharthi, they can be clubbed together because they desire Aishwarya. Aishwarya means that they desire Aishwaryam, which means lordship over Prakriti. Jignasuhu is Kaivalyarthi. Jignasuhu is Kaivalyarthi, one who desires only his own self. He desires to experience his own self, the Jivatma Tattva, and Jnani is one who really wants moksha or to attain and serve Parabrahman. Now, what do these 4 have to know? This is the crux of the 8th chapter, but Bhagavan gives the linkage in the 29th and 30th verses. The 29th verse, Ramanuja says, this refers to the Kaivalyarthi. The 3 basically, not for the Jnani. Tatra tesham trayanam bhagavantam bhajamananam nyatagya visheshan upadeyam cha prastavti. So he says, the 3 have to resort to me and they should know what is adhyatma and karma. Okay, they should know Brahma, Adhyatma and Karma. These 3 terms are mentioned by Bhagavan in the 29th verse, which has to be known to all the 3. Then this is sorry to go back and forth. In the 2 shlokas combined, Bhagavan says about all, but 29th Ramanuja says it's about the Kaivalyarthi. 30th is they should know Adhibhuta, Adhideva, Adhiyajna. This Ramanuja says it pertains to all the 4. Okay, this pertains to all the 4. You can see in the commentary also. Tatha sadhiyajnam nityapi trayanam adhikarinam avisheshana vidhiyate artha swabhavyat trayanam hi, and then he says this is for moksharthi also. Where is that line? Techa, techa, by the chakara. Chakara means and. Whenever there is a chakara, it gives, chakara means a cha, letter cha. It gives room for extending the scope of the matter. So Adhibhuta, Adhideva, Adhiyajna, and Prayanakala Chintana are common to all the four. This is the subject matter of the first few verses of the 8th chapter. So let us go through the 8th chapter, 269. Saptame Parasya Brahmanaha Vasudevasya Upasyasya. In the 7th chapter of Vasudeva, who has to be meditated upon, or Upasana has to be done upon whom? Nikhila Chetana Chetana Vastu Seshitvam Karanatvam Adharatvam Sarva Sharirataya Sarva Prakaratvena Sarva Shabda Vachyatvam Sarva Niyantritvam Sarvaischa Kalyana Gunaganaihi Ekashrayatvam Tasya Eva Parataratvam Cha. So what was said in the 7th chapter is, Ramanuja says, the Parabrahman is a Sheshi. Sheshi means we can say the master or lord of all the Chetana and Achetana Tattvas. Karanatvam, Parabrahman is the cause of the creation. Adharatvam, he is the basis for existence. And Sarva Sharirataya Sarva Prakaratvena Sarva Shabda Vachyatvam. Any word, any Vedic word, or any even whatever words we use, they all refer to Paramatma only. Why? Because every object is related to Paramatma in the body, soul, or Atma, Dehatma, Sambandha. Therefore, whatever words we use to refer to the Deha, body, they reach until the Atma. Therefore, Paramatma being the Sarva Antaryami, all the words, whatever we use, they refer to Bhagavan or Paramatma. And therefore, Sarva Niyantritvam, he is a all controller. Sarvaisya Kalyana Gunaganaihi Eka Ashrayatvam. He is he is endowed with all the Kalyana Guna. Gana means Kutam or multitude. Therefore, he is Paratara. Sattvarajastamo mayihi dehendriyatvena bhogyattvena cha avastitaihi bhavaihi anadikala pravritta dushkrita pravaha hetukaihi tasya tirodhanam. If he is so, or if he possesses all these attributes and he is the master, he is the controller, he possesses so many attributes like this, why is he not evident? Why is he not perceptible to the Jivatmas? The answer is Tirodhanam. Tirodhanam means there is a screen-like thing between us and Paramatma. What is that screen made of? Anadikala Pravrta Dushkrita Pravaha Hetukaihi. The screen is made of Sattva Rajas Tamo Mayihi. The screen is made of Prakrita matter, which is filled with Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas, and it comprises of the Deha, Indriya, etc., which become the Bhogya, objects of relishment for Jivatmas out of ignorance. And Anadikala Pravrta Dushkrita Pravaha Hetuki. And the root cause for that is the Papa, the Sanchaya of Papa, the collection of Papa, and the Pravaha means the flow of the Papa. That is the reason for this Tirodhanam to be there. Atyutkrishta Sukruta Hetuka Bhagavat Prapatyacha Tan Nivartanam. So how can we get rid of this Papa Sambandha? Atyutkrishta Sukruta Hetuka Bhagavat Prapatyacha Tan Nivartanam. It depends on the merit that we have done, which enables us to attain Bhagavan. Even though Prapatti is said to be the Upaya, not many people are aware, not many people perform Prapatti. Why? Because the reason is that they haven't done that much merit or punya to even know about Prapatti. Therefore, by resorting to Bhagavan, this Papa can be destroyed. Sukrita Taratamyena cha Prapatti Vaisheshyat Aishvarya Akshara Yathatmya Bhagavat Praptapekshaya Upasaka Bhedam. Even though you can say the enough merit is earned by the devotees to get rid of the Papa, after getting rid of Papa, then also the difference in the punya, it leads to three types of devotees. Aishvarya, Akshara, Yathatma, Bhagavat Praptapekshaya. People who resort to Aishvarya, people who resort to Akshara Yathatmya. Akshara means the individual Jivatma, and Bhagavat Prapti means Moksha, who desire to attain the Paramatma. Upasaka Bhedam means the difference in the Upasakas. Bhagavantam Prepsoho Nitya Yuktataya Eka Bhakti Tayacha Atyartha Parama Purusha Priyatvena Cha Shraishtyam Durlabhatvam Cha Pratipadya. We're going through the introduction of the 8th chapter, last few lines. Then the Bhagavan also spoke about the greatness and the rarity of such Jivatmas who resort to Bhagavan to attain, let us say, these three Purusharthas. Yesham Trayanam Nyatavya Upadeya Bhedamscha Prastoshat. And also, sorry, the rarity is about the Jnani, actually, not these four, about the Jnani who wishes to attain Bhagavan only. Then, still, Nyatavya Upadeya Bhedamscha Prastoshit. Okay. Then Bhagavan towards the end said these are the things that have to be known by all these four people. Idanim Ashtame Prastutan Nyatavya Upadeya Bhedan Vijanakti. Now, in the 8th chapter, he is going to elaborate on Nyatavya means what has to be known, Upadeya means what has to be taken, accepted. That is what Bhagavan is going to explain in the 8th chapter, which rightly begins with a question from Arjuna. Arjuna Uvacha Kim Tad Brahma Kim Adhyatmam Kim Karma Purushottama Adibhutam Cha Kim Proktam Adhidaivam Kim Uchyate. Arjuna asks, what is Brahma that you said that one has to know? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adibhuta? What is Adidaiva? Then Adhiyagnya Katam Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kale Chakatham Nyeyosi Niyata Atmabihi. What is this Adhiyagnya which has to be known at the time of the, which has to be known and also which has to be remembered during the parting of the life, let us say. So how to realize you, how to remember you. So these are the questions raised by Arjuna to know, to request Krishna to give clarity on these terms. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visargah Karma Samhitaha. He answers for Brahma, Adhyatma and then Karma in this third shloka. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. By the Brahma actually means Akshara. What is Akshara? It is the supreme self, or it is the Jivatma, the nature of Jivatma actually. That is Brahma. Then as distinct from Prakriti. Okay. Akshara is that the nature of Jivatma as distinct or as separated from Prakriti. Swabhava is Adhyatma. Swabhava we know. That is the attributes and the function, let us say, that is called as Adhyatma. So Adhyatma comes out of the combination of Jivatma and Prakriti. Okay. Akshara, Brahma refers to the pristine nature of Atma, which is different from the Prakriti, which is not bound by Prakriti, which is the pristine nature. Swabhava is the nature of Jivatma in connection with Prakriti. Okay. Now, Bhuta Bhavod Bhava Karo Visargaha Karma Samyataha. Now, karma is the action. Karma is the action which is performed by the Jivatmas. Okay. Shruti Siddho Yoshit Sambandhajaha Sa Karma Samriha Tacha Akilam Sanabandam Udvejaniyataya Pariharanayataya Chaya. Okay. Okay. Karma, to be precise, is the force which brings about the birth. Here, karma is described as the force which begins which produces the origination of mundane beings or the Jivatmas. So three things, let me repeat. Brahma is the Paramam Aksharam, which is the supreme and imperishable Atma, unpolluted by Prakriti. Swabhava is the nature of Jivatma when in connection with Prakriti. So Aksharam Brahma Paramam should be attained, therefore it should be known. Swabhava has to be given up, therefore it should be known. And karma here Bhagavan Krishna says it is a force which actually mm, initiates or originates the birth of mundane beings. Of course, for that force, the basis is the Jivatma's own karma. Okay, so that is not mentioned here, but that is the link. Now, here he refers some Shruti Vakya. Interestingly, I'm not going to read the commentary here, just going to give a summary. The Shruti, it beautifully describes the rebirth, the course of rebirth. After the prana leaves the Sharira, the Jivatma, the Deha is burnt actually. Then what happens is that the Atma, it leaves the Sharira completely, and it attains, along with the smoke, it goes up, it enters, it goes to the other worlds to experience the results of the sins and punya. If punya is done, it goes to those worlds where it can enjoy the fruits of punya merit. Otherwise, it goes to Papaloka. Then they are being dropped by the devatas onto the rain clouds. By rain, they enter the world again. This is a graphical description given by the Upanishads or given by the Veda, how this the Jivatmas are born again. So, which means we can extend this to understand that lives other than human beings, they perhaps they don't go anywhere. The Jivatmas which are bound in other beings, they after they die, they are born here only. They remain in this loka. But only the manushya, only the human beings, since they have the jnana and the ability to do the karma, to do right karma, also to do papa also. See, animals and plants, there is no room for them to perform, to commit a sin, because they don't have an option basically. But human beings are endowed with qualities to do punya or papa. Therefore, here also some subtle things are there. For those who die and who have been given the right samskaras, so those who die and who are being given the right samskaras as per the Vedic tradition, only those jivatmas, what they do is they leave the sharira, they are taken to the other worlds. After their merit or demerit or the punya papa are over, they come back to this world through the rain clouds, and from the rain clouds they come to the attain earth through the drops of water. So this is all due to the force called as karma. And the fourth shloka, adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushachadhidevatam adhiyajnyo ahamevatra dehe dehabhritambara. So adhibhuta, so we see about adhyatma, we have seen brahma, we have seen karma, we have seen. Now adhibhuta, adhibhuta is ksharaha. Adhibhuta means that's a perishable existence. Then adhidaivatam, adhidevata is the again the purusha, the individual jivatma. And adhiyajna is I, is Bhagavan Krishna. Okay, adhidevata means the purusha tattva basically, and who is the enjoyer, who is the experiencer in the material bodies. Adhibhuta is actually the, let us say, the deha or the prakriti. Adhibhutam is what is desired by the Aishwaryatis. Adhi Devata is what is desired by the Kaivalyatis. And Adhi Yajna is what is desired by the Mumukshus. Okay, but they all have to know all these things, and they have to meditate upon they have to think about the Adhi Yajna or Paramatma, who is present everywhere. Now, fifth shloka, idamapi trayanam sadharanam. So this is also common to all of them. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. Antakale cha, which means they have to remember. They have to remember Bhagavan. Mam eva smaran. It's very important because Krishna is going to say later, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. You should take care to remember only Bhagavan. Of course, if you are following the Bhakti Yoga, how prapatti is different is that for prapatti, those who do prapatti for the sake of moksha, they did not strain themselves to think about Bhagavan. Aham smarami bad bhaktam, says Bhagavan in Varahavatara. He will note down in his calendar. Today, I have to go into memory of this person because he is leaving the material body. So Bhagavan will ensure that he will come and show himself. But for Bhakti Yoga Nishtas, they have to make an effort to remember Bhagavan. Okay. Madbhavam yati nasti atra samshayaha. So they attain my being, or they attain the required merit to leave the bandha, and therefore no doubt in that. Now, in the next shloka, sixth shloka, Smartuhu Svavishaya Sajatiya Akaratapadhanam Antya Pratyasa Sabhavaiti Suspashtam Aha. Therefore, whatever he is going to attain after the death or leaving the body depends on what he thinks or what he meditates upon at the last moment. So this is where we have some stories about rishis being born as some animals. So they either they know, or they also desire to take that birth, and then because whatever they whatever they wished, they are destined to take birth as according to their wishes. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante khalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sata tadbhava bhavitah. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. So whatsoever they think, the atmas which are going to leave the sharira, he attains that basically. To that alone he goes, O Arjuna, ever dwelling in the thought thereof, because of the constant thinking of the desire. Yasmat purvakalabhyasta vishaye eva antya pratyo jayate. Now, to remember Bhagavan at the time of death, what should we do? Then it means that we should be remembering him always, because based on the strength of that remembrance, in the Antakala also, Bhagavan's memory will be there. Otherwise, if we keep on thinking something else, it will be difficult to focus at the deathbed, because we not all of us have experienced it. Maybe some have gone, experience, and come back to life, and so if we ask them how it feels like, it's inexplicable. It's a very difficult feeling. Therefore, one has to practice even before. Tasmat sarveshu sukaleshu ma manusmara yudhya Mayyar pitamano buddhihi ma maivaishyam asamshayam mameva aishyasi asamshayam. So Arjuna tells Krishna, Arjuna, therefore remember me at all times and fight. Do your karma also. Remember me, but do your karma. When I am established in your buddhi, you will surely come to me or attain me. This is the Upadesha of Krishna. Now, from the 8th verse, Ramanuja gives a special commentary. I'm reading his Ramanuja's words on page 275 in the middle. Evam samanyena sarvatra swaprapyavaptihi antya pratyadhina iti uktva tadartham trayanam upasana prakara bhedam bhaktum upakramati. Samanyena, which means applicable to all the three: the Aishwaryarthi, Kaivalyarthi, and Moksharthi. Swaprapya avaptihi antya pratyaya adhina. Attaining that Brahma bhava depends on the pratyaya here means the thoughts. The thoughts or the upasana which happens at the end when the prana leaves the body. Having said that, now Krishna makes according to Ramanuja, Krishna makes a distinction between the upasana of the three types of devotees, namely Aishwaryarthi, Kaivalyarthi, and Moksharthi. Tatra Aishwaryarthinam upasana prakaram yathopasanam antya pratyaya karakam cha aha. Very briefly, now Krishna tells about how the Aishwaryarthis have to go about doing their upasana. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati pathanu chintayan Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Abhyasa and yoga. Constant practice. Chetasa here means mind. Na anyagamina. The mind not going towards anything else. Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati. Thinking of the Supreme Divine Person. Anuchintayanne Yati Mam Yati. They attain me. This is a straightforward commentary. So we're not going through the commentary here. So the Aishwaryatis have to meditate with the mind trained by constant practice, focused on Bhagavan. Simple. Then 9 and 10. Kavim Purana Manusha Sitaram Anoraniyam Sa Manusmaredyah Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat Prayanakale Manasa Chalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bhuvor Madhye Pranamaveshya Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam Prayanakale Manasa Achalena Manasa at the time of departure without with a steadfast mind, Bhaktya with Bhakti, Yoga Balenacha, Bhakti and with the power of strength of yoga, Bhruvor Madhye Pranamaveshya. This is beyond my experience. So, but there should be people who have done all these things. So he says to place the prana over here, and then they think about, they meditate about divine, the supreme personality, Bhagavan, who is described in the 9th verse. Kavim, he is the Sarvajna. By Kavi, he is Sarvajna. Puranam means he is the Purana Purusham Puratanam. Anushasitaram, he is the Prashasita of the entire world. Anoraniyan is a beautiful kirtana of Purandaradasa. Anoho Aniyan. Anoho Aniyan means he is subtler than the subtlest. He is subtler than the subtle things. Anusmaran Anoraniyamsam Anusmaret Yaha. Anoraniyamsam is Ditiya Bhakti. To remember that one who remembers Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam. He is the Adhara for everything. He is a creator, and still and yet he is inconceivable. He cannot be thought about. Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. So the entire Prakriti Mandala, though we have many stars and suns, yet it is described as Tamas. So beyond this Tamah Pradesha, there exists this Paramatma who is akin to an Aditya. Now, Kaivalyarthi, for Kaivalyarthi, the 11th verse, Atha Kaivalyarthinam Smarana Prakaram Aha. Yadaksharam Veda Vido Badanti Vishanti Yadyatayo Vitaragaha Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshye. Yati Aksharam. Previously we saw Aksharam refers to that imperishable Atma Tattva. Veda Vidaha Vadanti. What is mentioned by the knowledge of Veda. Yat Yatayaha Vitaragaha Vishanti. Vitaragaha Yatayaha. Those ascetics who are free from passion, etc., they attain that Atma Tattva. Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti. So desiring what, they practice the vow of Brahmacharya. Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe. I will tell you that about that abode in a very brief manner. That is, this shloka tells about how the Kaivalyatis have to meditate. 12th verse. Sarvadvarani samyamya manohriti niruddhya Murdhya dhayatmanah pranam astito yogadharanam. Yogadharana is a stage of the yoga, steady concentration. Pranam astitaha yogadharanam murdhni adhaya atmanah. And hridi niruddhya, manaha hridi niruddhya, sarvadvarani samyamya. Dwaram here means the sense organs. Controlling the sense organs. Manaha hridi niyamya, niruddhya, placing the mind in with the heart. And pranam astitaha, fixing his life breath. Murdhni, murdhni means in the towards the head, within the head. And yoga dharanam astitaha, pranam astitaha, yoga dharanam astitaha. So this person, he maintains himself in a steady concentration. Then by being in this position, in the state, ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम्. Uttering the syllable, sacred syllable, the pranava, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan, which denotes Brahman. The purport of the meaning of pranava is Brahman. Deham tyajan, leaving the body, abandons the body and departs. Thus, he reaches the highest state. He reaches the highest state, which is again highest for him, his according to his desire, which is the kaivalya or the pratyagatma, the anubhava of the individual atma. Okay, prakriti viyukta mat samanakaram apunaravritim atmanam prapnoti. Now we are going to look at that, who comes back and who doesn't come back. Of the three, Aishwaryarthi, Kaivalyarthi and Moksharthi, who comes back and who doesn't come back, he is going to say, Krishna is going to say. Now the next verse, the 14th verse, it talks about the Jnanis. It talks about the Jnanis. Page 279, Ramanuja says, Evam Aishwaryarthinah Kaivalyarthinascha Swaprapya Anugunah Bhagavad Upasana Prakaraha Uktah Atha Jnaninaha Bhagavad Upasana Prakaram Prapti Prakaram Cha. The distinction between these three is that in the it's very subtle. It's not elaborated in the Gita actually, but as said before, the Jnanis, they attain Paramatma, they resort to Paramatma to attain him only. Whereas Aishwaryarthis, they resort to Paramatma to attain Aishwarya. Kaivalyarthis, they resort to Paramatma to attain Kaivalya. But a Jnani, Bhakta Shrestha, he resorts to Bhagavan to attain Bhagavan only. Therefore, for him, Ananyacheta Satatam, Ananyacheta Satatam, Yomham Smarati Nityashaha, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha, Nityayuktasya Yoginaha, Ananyachetaha, Yaha Mam Satatam Smarati Nityashaha. With his mind not in anything else, whoever is devoted to me, whoever remembers me, Aham Tasya Sulabaha, Partha Aham Tasya Sulabaha. Partha, I am very easy for him to attain. Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Why? Because he is always united. He is always trying to recollect me. Therefore. Okay. Just looking at any special. The same things which I said before, the first paragraph. Let me read. Nityasho mam udyoga prabhriti satatam sarvakalam ananya chetaha yaha smarati. Athyatam mat priyatvena mat smritya vina atma dharanam alabhamanaha. So the point here is that the jnanis, they cannot sustain themselves even if for a moment they stay away from the thoughts of Paramatma or Bhagavan. That is their speciality. So they always seek the memories of Paramatma. For those, I am easy, says Bhagavan, I am easy to attain. Okay. Now, page 280. Atah param adhyaya sheshena jnaninaha kaivalyarthinascha apunaravrittim aishwaryarthinaha punaravrittim cha aha. Now, through the remaining shlokas of the adhyaya, Krishna is going to say that the Aishwaryarthis will have to be born again. Punaravritti means they are born again. The Aishwaryarthis, after they enjoy the supremacy over Prakriti Mandala, they rule the Prakriti Mandala. Then after their Punya Vishesha is exhausted, the power of Upasana is exhausted, they are born again. They have to perhaps start from scratch, or we don't know what will happen to them. Kaivalyarthi and Moksharthi, very interestingly, Kaivalyarthi and Moksharthi, they do not come back to the material world. Here, there is a Sampradaya Bheda here. The Kaivalya is very difficult to explain actually, but since Krishna himself says we have to accept that, we can ask some questions also. Let me ask myself, like, having known about Bhagavan, having known about the Upasana ways and other things, how would someone stop short from attaining Paramatma? How would someone say, I'm happy with Kaivalya. Can someone say like that? First of all, that will be a question. But it may be possible, we do not know. And Shastra allows for Kaivalya according to Ramanuja. Therefore, we have to accept that there are Kaivalyatis. But the interesting question here is, what will happen to the Kaivalyatis? Where will they be? In Samskrita, they say, Itopi Bhrashtaha, Tatopi Bhrashtaha. They do not desire for stay with Prakriti. Okay. So they give up Prakriti, they give up Sambandha at Prakriti, but they haven't actually wished to attain Bhagavan. There are only two places now. One is you be with Prakriti or you be with Bhagavan. But the Kaivalyarthis now, they desire neither Prakriti nor Bhagavan. So technically speaking, where will they be? This is a discussion in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And the two schools, namely Tenkalai and Vadakalai, they have taken two different positions. What they say is that the Tenkalai school, what they say is that the Kaivalyarthis will also enter Sri Vaikuntha. They say they will also enter Sri Vaikuntha. They will cross Graja Nadi, but they will be like put in a camp near the Nadi itself. They will not go further to the interior parts of Sri Vaikuntha. So they will be in Sri Vaikuntha, but not enjoying the bhoga in Sri Vaikuntha. They give example also. They will be like wives who have been abandoned by their husband. That is Bhagavan would abandon them like this. They say based on some pramana. But the Vadagali school, what they say is that this Kaivalya position is a brief, it's a temporary desire that they asked for. After they exhaust or after let us say, the prescribed time or whatever, they will also attain moksha gradually or in the time to come. Therefore, uh, they cannot be having their own world to stay. They cannot go to Sri Vaikunta because they did not desire that. That would be against some of the nyayas, and they can't stay with Prakriti also. So this Kaivalya phase or state has to be a temporary one, and at the end of it, those jivatmas also, because of the karuna grace of Bhagavan, they will also enter Sri Vaikunta. This is the conclusion by the Vadakalai school. But for us, it does not matter because it's very far. Even the Kaivalya position is very far. So if at all we have some doubts, we can go and clarify on the way when we go to moksha. It's very difficult to say from here. Okay. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. Now he says मामुपेत्य. Here interestingly, Ramanuja includes the Kaivalyatis also. Though Bhagavan says mamupetya. One second. Okay. Mamupetya punarjanma. Bhagavan says, having attained me, the souls are not born again. They are not subject to birth. Mahatmanaha na apnuvanti samsiddhim paramam gataha. Okay. Now in the commentary also, Ramanuja says that those who resort to Bhagavan, they are not born again. Now what happens to the Aishwarya Gati? Aishwarya Gatim Praptanam, Bhagavantam Praptanam cha Punadhavrittau Apunadhavrittau cha Hetum Anantaramaha. Now he says, Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punadhavartino Arjuna Mam Upetita Kaunteya Punajanmana Vidyate. So Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha, all the worlds that come down from Brahma Loka. See, the conception is like this, I mean, a oval form or whatever. The supreme Loka is Vishnu Loka. Descendants in a descending order, you have Brahma Loka, maybe lokas of other devatas, and finally you have the Prakriti Mandala. Therefore, from Satya Loka, all worlds are subject to return. That is, they will also get destroyed at the end of the Pralaya. Therefore, but Mam Upetita Kauntaya, those who resort to me and come to my world, for them there is no rebirth. Okay. Now, 282. ब्रह्मलोक पर्यन्तानां लोकानां तदन्तर्वर्तिनां च परमपुरुष संकल्पकृतां उत्पत्ति विनाश काल व्यवस्था मह. When will the worlds like Brahmaloka will get destroyed? How long is the Aishwarya Kala? Because if it's going to be only a few years, maybe people will not be attracted for Aishwarya. Therefore, Ramanuja says, Krishna says the time, the duration for which those worlds will stay, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaha. Those who know the world, the time duration for the Brahmaloka, they say that the day of Brahma, it lasts for 1,000 yugas. A night of Brahma, it lasts for 1,000 yugas. 1,000 yugas is our time. One such 1,000 yugas is one day. Another 1,000 yugas is one night for the Brahmaloka. So that is the longevity in the Brahmaloka. Abhyaktad अव्यक्तय सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्त सम्यके. Now this pralaya is not the final pralaya. It is a dissolution of it is the passing of one night for Brahma and the beginning of one day. When it is time for the night, all the worlds they attain laya. Again, when it is time for the day, they will be let out. Okay. All the manifested entities, they come forth from the unmanifest at the coming of the day of Brahma. At the coming of this night, they are dissolved into the same which is known as the unmanifest. So some unmanifest entity is there. During the day of Brahma, all the beings, they come out, they emerge from the unmanifest. At his evening, they all go back to the unmanifested tattva. Bhutagramasya vayam bhutva praliyate ratyagame vashah partha prabhavatyah ragame. So these same multitude of beings, they come forth again and again. Avashaha means without any control, irresistibly. And at the end, they get dissolved at the coming of the night. And again, it comes forth at the coming of the day. So this keeps happening. This keeps happening. Let me read the commentary to the 19th verse, page 283. Sayeva ayam karmavashyo bhutagramaha aharahagame bhutva ratriagame praliyate. So karmavashyaha bhutagramaha. Grama means multitude. The multitude of the beings, those who are controlled by karma, aharagame. Ahaha means the day. Anhikam, we say ahan, ahaha. Aharagame means with the coming of day, Brahma's day. Bhutva, they born. Ratriagame, Brahma's night. Praliyate, they get dissolved. Punarapi aharagame prabhavati. Again the cycle goes on. Tata varsha shatavasana rupa yuga sahasrante brahmaloka paryanta lokaha brahmacha prithvi apsu praliyate apaha tejasi liyante ityadi kramena avyaktaksharatama paryantam mayya praliyante. So all these worlds ending with the Brahmaloka, in the manner mentioned in the Upanishads, that earth dissolves in water, water in fire, fire in air, etc. In this way, all these worlds ultimately they attain absorption in me. Mayyeva praliyante. Evam mad vyatiriktasya kritsnasya kala vyavastaya matta utpattehe mayyi pralayati cha utpatti vinasha yogitvam avajaniyamiti aishwarya gatim praptanam punaravartihi apariharya. Apariharya means unavoidable. Therefore, the coming back to this material world of those who resort to Aishwarya is without a choice. Is not, it cannot be avoided. Evam mad vyatiriktasya gratnasya kala vyavastaya. Kala vyavastaya, whatever is different from me, whatever below me, all these things, they are born and they attain dissolution or they are dissolved. Therefore, the people who resort to Aishwaryarthis, they are also subject to be born again based on this logic. That's Bhagavan says. You can read the commentary in English which says about the duration in English also, the Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga on page 284. Brahma has a lifespan of hundreds of years and so many human years. what is this, trillion, maybe some years numbers are given on page 284. This is for people who want to know such details. I'm not going into such details. It's anyway, it's a long time for us. Then 284, अथ कैवल्य प्राप्तानामपि पुनरावृत्तिः न विद्यते इति आह. It's very important. Now कैवल्य प्राप्तानामपि पुनरावृत्तिः न विद्यते. Even for those who resort to kaivalya, there is no coming back to the prakriti mandala. परस्तस्मात् भावोऽन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तो व्यक्ता सनातनः यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तस्तमाहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Let us go through the commentary to understand these two verses. तस्मात् अव्यक्तात् अचेतन प्रकृति रूपात् पुरुषार्थतया पर उत्कृष्टः भावः अन्यः. Anyah here refers to the Kaivalya Arti, the Jivatma Swarupa, which is different from the Avyakta, which is Achetana. Paraha, which is superior to. So the Jiva Tattva basically is superior to the Prakriti Mandala, which is Achetana and which is Avyakta. Jnanaika Akarataya Tasmat Visjatiya. How is it different? He is different because he is of the form of Jnana only. Kenachit Pramanena na Vyajyate iti Avyaktaha. He is also called Avyakta. Why he is called Avyakta? Because he is not described or he is not known through any other pramana but only by himself. That is only through jnana. Okay. Therefore, he is Avyakta. He becomes unmanifest for any other pramana. That's the reason. Swasamvedya sadharanakara ityartaha. So he has to be known by himself only, not through any other pramana. Sanatanaha utpatti vinasha anarhataya nityaha. That jiva tattva, which is pristine and away from the prakriti mandala, it is beyond birth and beyond destruction, beyond death. Yaha sarveshu vyedadishu bhuteshu sakaraneshu sakaryeshu vinashyatsu tatta tatta sthitopi na vinashyati. So this atma tattva, even though it is there in the prakriti tattvas, even when they attain dissolution, he is untouched. He stays in his own nature. Saha avyaktaha akshara iti uktaha ye tvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate kutasto akshara uchyate. These are the shlokas which are going to come in the 12th and 13th, 15th shlokas, which talk about the jivatma as akshara. इत्यादिषु तम वेदविदः परमां गतिम् आहुः अयमेव यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं सयाति परमां गतिम् इत्यत्र परमगति शब्द निर्दिष्टः अक्षरः प्रकृति संसर्ग वियुक्त स्वरूपेण अवस्थित आत्मा इत्यर्थः. So this shloka, it actually talks about paramam gatim. We may be misled by looking at paramam gatim. You may think it is Shivaikuntha, but Ramanuja clarifies here the prakriti viyukta atma swarupa. That state is also called as paramagati. Yam evam bhutam swarupena avastam prapya nivartante tat mama paramam dhama paramam niyamanasthanam. So Ramanuja very beautifully says that's my mama dhama means niyamanasthanam. Having attained that state, atmas don't return. That is called as the paramagati. That is the prakriti vikta jivatma tattva, which is my niyamanasthana or under my control. Ramanuja says of Bhagavan. Achetana prakritihi ekam niyamanasthanam. Tat samshra rupa jiva prakritihi dvitiyam niyamanasthanam. So one niyamanasthana is the achetana prakriti. The other niyamanasthana is the jiva prakriti. Because we know the prakriti is the term prakriti himself refers to both the actual prakriti and jivatma, which we have seen earlier. Apara prakriti, apara prakriti. Achit samsarga viyuktam swarupena avasitam mukta swarupam paramam niyamanasthanam ityartha. So that becomes a higher niyamanasthana of Bhagavan. Tatcha apunaravriti rupam. That becomes the point of no return. Athava prakashavachi dhama shabdaha prakashascha iha jnanam abhipretam prakriti samsrishtat parichinna yan rupat atmanaha aparichinna yan rupataya mukta swarupam paramam dhama. Otherwise, Ramanuja says we can also interpret the dhama shabda like this. It refers to luminosity, and the luminosity is actually compared to jnana. For jnana, it is said as dhamma or luminosity. So the essential nature of the self, the jivatma, is limitless knowledge. Parichinna jnana rupat Atmanah. Now, Atmanah Aparichinna jnana rupataya Mukta Swarupam Parandam. Okay. Prakriti samsrishtat Parichinna jnana rupat. Because of the sambandha with Prakriti, Parichinna means limited. The self, when in sambandha with Prakriti, its jnana is shrunk. So compared to that, when it attains a state which is distinct, which is untouched by Prakriti, it attains Aparichinna jnana rupataya, Aparichinna jnana rupa. It attains unlimited state of jnana, which is called as the Mukta Swarupa. That is Paramdhama. That is the highest state. Now, the 22nd verse, page 286, Ramanuja says, Jnaninaha prapyam tu tasmat atyanta vibhaktam vidyah. So the place where the jnanis go, where the bhaktas attain, it is higher and different from the even the Kaivalyarti's state. Purusha saparah partha bhaktya labhyasvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Ramanuja says that supreme person, Partha, Paraf Purushaha, Bhaktya Labhyah Natu Ananyaya. Ananyaya Bhaktya Labhyah. Labhyastu Anyaya, Na Anyaya. So he is attainable only through Bhakti, which is undivided Bhakti. One minute. Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananyaya. Yeah. Ananyaya Bhaktya Labhyah. Anyaya means it is divided, the focus is divided, whereas Ananyaya Bhaktya Labhya means undivided attention. That's what is referred to. Yasya Antasthani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. That Supreme Purusha, the entire world is pervaded by him with all the beings. Now Ramanuja's commentary, Mattah Parataram Nanyati Kinchitasti Dhananjaya. Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manighana iva mamebhyah paramabhyayam ityadina nirdishtasya yasya antasthani sarvani bhutani tena cha parayana purushena sarvamidam tatam sa parapurushaha ananya cheta satatam iti ananyaya bhaktya labhyah. He combines the pramanas within the Bhagavad Gita to quote who is the Parabrahma and what is the Ananya Bhakti and so on. So in the commentary also, he just explains the Panchagni Vidya of Upanishads, which states how the Jivatmas are born again, how they are left to the material world. But for these bhaktas, they attain moksha, they never come back to the material world. Okay, so this is the crux of the commentary. Yeah, okay. Page 289, 23 and 24. Yatra kale tvana vrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha prayata yantitam kalam bhakshami bharatarshabha. Now, this 23 to, let us say, 26, it talks about the departure, the journey basically, which is mentioned in the Upanishads also, how the departure happens. Yatra kaletu anavrittim avartim chevi yoginah. When they depart, when they return, when they do not return, so that yanti tam kalam vakshami bhartarshapa. Arjuna, I will tell you that time. I declare to you the time departing in which the yogis do not return, and also the time departing in which they return. So this is it is believed that if a Jivatma, if he dies during the Uttarayana, then he does not come back. He goes to the higher worlds, etc. Uttarayana Punyakala. Dakshinayana means he does not, he has to come back. Like this, some this Pramana state. That's why Bhishma also he chose to die on the Uttarayana Punyakala. So Bhagavan is sharing that information. Agnirjyotiraha Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prajata Gachanti Brahma Vido Janaha. Light in the form of fire, the day, the bright fortnight, 6 months of the northern course of the sun, the noise of Brahman, who take this path go to Brahman. It is like the light here refers to Jnana. So when they follow the path of light, which begins with the Agni, Jyoti, the day, no, all these things, the 6 months during Uttarayana, the Pramana says they attain Brahman. And then the 25th shloka, it says the contrast. Dhumora atristata krishnaha shanmasa dakshinayanam tatra chandramasam jyot yogi prapya nivartate. Now, in the 24th shloka, it is the Jyotiraha Shuklaha. It is the course of the sun. Now it is Chandramasam. It's the course of the moon, which actually is a path to return. So the yogis who shed their breath, who leave their body during Dakshayana, they take the course of the moon. Then they have to come back because this is the point of return. Whereas the path of the sun is point of no return. Shukla Krishna Gati Hyete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Ayatyana Vrityam Anyaya Vartate Punaha. So Shukla and Krishna, white and black, these are the two ways in which the jnanis they live. So one who takes up the Shukla Gati or the path of Surya during Uttarayana, he does not return. Whereas one who takes the Krishna Gati, the path of moon, he returns. This is all mentioned in the Shruti and Smriti. Naite sati partha janan yogi mukhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhava arjuna. Now he also gives a warning that who knows about the two paths do not actually worry about them. No yogin who knows the two paths is ever deluded. Therefore, Arjuna, be integrated with yoga always. Eto margau jananna yogi prayanakale kachana mukhyati apitu svenayeva devayanena pathayati. So he knows, he takes the path of God's or his own path. He knows about the two paths. He is not deluded. He is focused. So he will go through the path of light only. Therefore, yoga yuktaha bhava. So that's not for him. That's not for you. Therefore, you keep on doing yoga, which will automatically take you to the path of light. Atha adhyaya dvaya udita shastrartha vedana phalam aha. Now, in the 28th verse, Ramanuja says, does it apply for all, even for sannyasis to Uttarayan and Dakshinayanam? Yes, it applies for all the Jivatmas. The sannyasi also is an ashrama, but whether they succeed in the sannyasa ashrama is that needs to be seen. Accepting sannyasa ashrama is within the capability of a person, but to attain the end of it, that we do not know. So this maybe I can say I do not know answer for this. Even for sannyasis also, let us not get into any arguments here, or because I should not talk out of ignorance. So my answer is I do not know. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. But what occurs to me is that, theoretically speaking, a sannyasi would have attained the proper jnana, and therefore he has taken up the sannyasa ashrama. So you should be destined to go to the path of light in either way, let us say, because they have to attain Brahman. But also, those for prapannas, those who do prapati, does not matter. It's very clearly stated in the Sampradaya Grantha that these norms do not apply for the prapannas, those who take the prapati route. Now, Vedeshu Yajneshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Padishtam. So, whatever the Punya Phala, the merit is being said in the Vedas, Yajnas, Tapas, and Dhana, Atyeti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva, Yogi Paramsthanam Upeti Chadyam. So, for the practice of all this, does a yogin transcend. Knowing this teaching of mine, he reaches supreme primal abode. So, he transcends basically all those fruits which are mentioned by the study of Vedas or performance of yajnas, tapas, all these things. So, knowing all this, the yogi, he sacrifices those fruits mentioned because he has to attain the Parabrahman. Rig Yaju Sama Tharva Rupa Vedabhyasa Yajna Tapodhana Prabhutishu सर्वेषु पुण्येषु यत् फलं निर्दिष्टम् इदम् अध्यात्मद्वयोदितं भगवन् माहात्म्यं विदित्वा तत्सर्वम् अत्येति. So knowing the greatness of Bhagavan Mahatmyam Viditva, knowing the greatness of Bhagavan, he transcends the fruits of all those mentioned above. Rather, he attains Tat Sarvam Trinavat Manyate. Yogi Jnanicha Bhutva Jnaninaha Prapyam Param Adyam Sthanam Upaiti. Tat Sarvam Trinavat Manyate. In Ramanuja's Taniyan itself, Yonitya Machyuta Padambhuja Yugmaritma Vyamohadas Taditrani Trinaya Mene. So his own words, Trinavata Manyate. The yogis or the jnanis, they do not desire for any of these fruits which are mentioned by the study of scriptures, doing yajnas, performing tapas, giving dana, etc. So they resort to Bhagavan only and they attain the ultimate fruit, which is Bhagavan. Now, we have completed the 8th chapter in one shot in this lecture. Let us go to the 9th chapter in the next session. Hereafter, wherever it is really required, we'll go through the commentary. Otherwise, we'll go through the meanings only because we've taken enough time now. We also need to complete the course in a couple of months. So, but if you have something you want me to explain any particular portion, you can always do. You can write to me. That we will do it again, maybe if required, or if something is left out, we can do it again. We can do it that also in the coming sessions. So, dhanyavadaha. With this, I complete the session today. Any questions you can ask me, otherwise you can write in the group and so. Difficult moments in the lecture. Okay, at least I was heard completely. Was I?
Yes, yes.
The audio was clear.
And it's a very
Though the
interesting
content.
chapter. Yes.
Okay, though the content, we leave the content. At least the audio was clear.
Very interesting. Yes, very interesting.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, then. Thank you. We'll meet again next week, Tuesday. Sorry, this Friday. I will share the recording as soon as possible. Dhanyavadaha.